We're here at the Leaders in Tech Summit at London Tech Week 2019, and I'm joined now by Rajvir Madan, the Vice President for Digital Data Analytics Innovation at Consumer Healthcare Tech at GSK. Thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
And what have you been discussing here today at the Leaders in Tech Summit?
Yeah, I think for me it's been a lot about how do we transform our organization digitally and what is the role that technology can play in that. And I think for me what's super critical is how do we source the right talent and what's the right talent sourcing mechanisms that we can put in place to sort of bring in the right experts that can help us sort of move our digital tech transformation forward. So I think that's been one of the big areas. I think the other big area has been around how do we think of our technology vision and how do we sort of think of future-proofing our technology and where do we make the right investments so that we can continue to be prepared for the disruption that's happening in the healthcare industry.
Mm-hmm. So GSK are our lead stream sponsors for London Tech Week this year. How have you seen digital transformation impacting your industry?
Yeah, so I think the healthcare industry continues to be, disrupted. I think a lot of tech organizations are actually entering into the healthcare industry. So you have companies like Amazon, companies like Google that are sort of entering into the healthcare space. And I think the healthcare industry is really sort of prime target for disruption. I also think that with the advent of digital data analytics, one of the things that's happening is that our consumers expect a lot more customized and personalized experiences. And I think they expect us not only to provide solutions to them when they're sick, but I think they want us to provide more holistic solutions that go beyond the pill and also help them sort of deal with their wellness. So even when they're feeling well, how can we predict that there's an onset of a flu coming, there's an onset of an allergy attack coming, so that they know in advance that they can do things to sort of prevent that. They can do things to actually deal with the onset of a flu or an onset of an allergy. But I think looking at healthcare in a more holistic way is, I think, the opportunity we have in front of us.
Mm-hmm. And what are you planning to do at GSK to digitally transform in the next 5 years?
Yeah, so I think we've already taken a few steps. I think we've obviously started to hire the right talent within the organization, as well as upskill some of the talent that we currently had within the organization. So I think we're first of all focusing on the talent piece of it. I think the other piece of it that we're focusing on, which is super important, is how do we bring more of an agile and a product mindset to the work that we do, so that we can continue to be iterative and we can continue to take a very test and learn approach. And I think the third thing we are doing is we're driving this sort of culture of innovation within our organization, because we know that we have to continue to think ahead. We have to continue to think of ideas that are going to potentially disrupt the industry. And if we don't do that, we are going to get potentially disrupted.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say is the biggest challenge in your digital transformation? Yeah,
I think the biggest challenge we face is actually around talent. I think there's a big shortage of talent currently. I think that it's really hard to find talent in the digital and data analytics space. I think we are also competing with a lot of tech companies. If you know digital, you know data and analytics, you might want to go work at a tech organization like a Google or Facebook. So what do we do as GSK to attract the best talent into the organization, as well as build the right talent pipelines and upskill the individuals we have, I think is the biggest challenge we face.
Mm-hmm. And what is your vision for consumer healthcare over the next 10 years?
Yeah, I think our vision for consumer healthcare is to continue to look beyond the pill and actually to provide very holistic solutions to our patients and our consumers, where we become sort of the one-stop shop that helps them solve all of their healthcare issues, not only when they have a disease or they have a condition, but also we help them sort of predict in advance that there's an onset of a condition that they might end up getting, and how do we sort of prevent them from having that condition. I mean, like my wife personally, she suffers from migraines, for instance, and while we have drugs like Excedrin that help deal with the migraine when it happens, she's had I wish I could do more to sort of help prevent that migraine, or at least to inform her that a migraine is coming. And I think that's the role that GSK can play, which is not only on the prevention side but on the wellness side as well.
Thanks very much. And
Thank
it looks
you.
like your company's definitely going to be one to watch over the next 10 years, and we're
Thank
going to
you.
see some interesting things in healthcare.
Thank you.
Thanks very
It was
much for
great
taking the time to
you
speak to
today.
me.
Thank you.
Thanks.